Remember me? A single mother sees her first love at the airport, not knowing he is a millionaire and, hello everyone, before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let's return to our main character. The soft hum of rolling suitcases and airport announcements floated through the air as Lily Carter tightened her grip on her daughter's small hand. The terminal was bright, loud, and alive, yet somehow she felt like she was walking through a dream she was not quite awake in. Travel always did that to her. Maybe it was the rush. Maybe it was the memories she tried not to think about. Or maybe it was the tiredness under her eyes from working back-to-back shifts. Either way, nothing prepared her for the moment she glanced up and saw him. Ethan Walker. Or at least, a man who looked exactly like him. Same dark hair, same steady posture, same quiet focus in his eyes as he scanned the departure board. For a second, the world around her dissolved. Her breath caught, sharp and sudden, like she had stepped into cold water. 10 years had passed since high school, since the summer nights when she thought their futures were intertwined, before distance and circumstances tore everything apart. She blinked hard, convincing herself she was imagining things. Millionaires did not stand casually in airports wearing hoodies and faded jeans. Millionaires did not check flight gates alone. And millionaire or not, men like Ethan did not come back into the orbit of women like her. Yet his profile was unmistakable. She whispered his name under her breath, unsure if she wanted it to be him or if she was afraid it actually was. Mia tugged her sleeve, asking for a snack, but Lily's eyes stayed locked on the man by the gate. When he turned slightly, her heart flipped. It was him. Older, sharper around the edges, but undeniably Ethan. Before she could think, she stepped forward, weaving through travelers with a speed she did not know she had. "Excuse me, Ethan," she called softly, touching a stranger's shoulder. He turned, but it wasn't him. Not even close. Her cheeks burned with embarrassment, and she apologized quickly, pulling Mia close as the overhead speaker announced another boarding group. She exhaled shakily, trying to laugh it off, but inside something old and familiar stirred. Hope. Regret. And something else she wouldn't dare name. She told herself it was better this way. Better that it wasn't him. Better that the past stayed in the past. But as she walked away, rolling her worn suitcase behind her, she didn't notice the real Ethan Walker standing just a few steps behind, watching her with a stunned look in his eyes, as if he, too, had just seen a ghost from another lifetime. Lily tried to steady her breath as she guided Mia toward the seating area near their gate, pretending her heart had not just leaped into her throat. The moment of mistaken identity still clung to her, warm and embarrassing, like getting caught in a memory she had not invited back. Mia climbed onto a chair and swung her legs, oblivious to the turmoil swirling inside her mother. "Mommy, can I have apple juice?" she asked, her voice soft and sweet. Lily nodded, smoothing a stray curl behind her daughter's ear. "Of course, honey. Stay right here and keep an eye on our bag." She walked to the small convenience stand, trying to shake off the strange pull of the past. It had been 10 years. A decade of single shifts, double shifts, worn sneakers, and quiet nights rocking Mia to sleep after nightmares. A decade of learning to keep moving even when life felt too heavy. People did not simply reappear after 10 years. Not in real life. And yet, as she paid for the juice, she felt that odd tingling at the back of her neck again, like someone was watching her. She turned just slightly, pretending to check the time on her phone, and there he was. Ethan. The real him. Standing several yards away, half hidden behind a group of travelers. His eyes were on her, uncertain, as if he was trying to decide whether he was imagining her too. Lily froze. Ethan took one small step forward. Then another. Something fluttered in her chest, something she thought had died a long time ago. But right before he reached her, a boarding announcement cut through the air. Families began gathering, passengers lined up, and the space between them filled with motion. Lily tightened her grip on the juice and hurried back toward Mia. She was not ready. Not here. Not like this. She reached her daughter, handing her the drink with a smile that felt too tight. "Mommy, are you all right?" Mia asked, tilting her head like she always did when she noticed Lily's thoughts drifting. "I am okay. Just tired," Lily replied, brushing a gentle hand over Mia's cheek. But when she glanced back toward where Ethan had been standing, the spot was empty. He had disappeared into the crowd as quickly as he had appeared. For a moment she wondered if she should feel relief. Instead, she felt something closer to disappointment, a soft ache she could not explain. She sat beside Mia, pulling her daughter onto her lap, telling herself to breathe, telling herself that life did not hand out second chances that easily. But at the same time, a small part of her whispered that maybe, just maybe, some people were meant to collide more than once. A soft rustle behind her made her look up. Ethan was standing there now, closer than before, a hesitant smile tugging at his lips. Lily's heart stumbled. He opened his mouth like he was about to speak her name. But before a single word left his lips, Mia looked up at him with wide, curious eyes and asked the question Lily never expected to hear, "Sir, do you know my mommy?" For a heartbeat, Ethan could not answer. Mia's wide blue eyes blinked up at him with innocent curiosity, and Lily felt her stomach tighten as she waited for him to speak. Ethan drew a slow breath, the kind he used to take before saying something that mattered. "Yes," he finally said, his voice gentle but steady, "I know your mother." Lily felt warmth rise in her chest, a mix of old memories and new uncertainties. She gave Mia a little squeeze, silently asking her daughter to stay close. Mia smiled brightly, the way children do when they sense something familiar in a stranger. "Mommy does not know many people," she said matter-of-factly. "We only have Grandma and Miss Tessa from downstairs." Ethan's expression softened, a shadow of sadness passing behind his eyes. "Life changes when we grow up," he said quietly, but his gaze stayed on Lily, searching her face as if trying to reconnect threads that time had frayed. Lily forced a calm smile and gestured toward the empty seat beside her. "You can join us if you want," she said, surprising herself with the invitation. Ethan hesitated, then sat down, careful and respectful, leaving just enough space between them to make her feel safe. He looked older, yes, but there was still that familiar gentleness beneath the polished exterior. The same boy who used to walk her home after school, carrying her books even when she said she could manage. The same boy who used to hold her hand under the bleachers when the world felt too loud. "I cannot believe it is really you," Ethan murmured. "I thought," he stopped, choosing his words. "I thought I lost the chance to ever see you again." Lily swallowed, unsure how to respond. The airport announcements in the background seemed to fade, leaving only the weight of his words between them. "Life got complicated," she said softly. Mia climbed onto her mother's lap again, leaning comfortably against her. Ethan's eyes followed the little girl's movements, warm and curious. "How old is she?" he asked. 6, Lily answered, brushing her hand through Mia's hair. "Her name is Mia." "Hi Mia," Ethan said warmly. "I like your backpack." It was a pink one with small stars on it, a thrift store find that Mia loved endlessly. Mia touched one of the star patches proudly. "Mommy sewed these on because they were falling off," she explained. Ethan smiled, something soft stirring behind his expression, something that looked like admiration. "Your mother has always been good with her hands," he said quietly. The comment wrapped around Lily like a memory. Years ago, she used to fix his torn jacket sleeves with the same careful patience. She looked away quickly, realizing her heart was beating too fast. Their moment was interrupted by another airport announcement. "Passengers for Flight 62 to Denver, please be advised of additional delays." Ethan glanced at the board. Are you both headed to Denver? Lily nodded. Yes. My mother is there. We are visiting for a few days. Ethan's jaw relaxed slightly, as if relieved to know they were not vanishing from his life again. Then Mia looked up with innocent honesty and asked the question that made Lily's breath stop. Sir, were you Mommy's boyfriend? Ethan's cheeks flushed just slightly, and Lily felt hers do the same. He opened his mouth, unsure how much truth to reveal or how much he was allowed to feel again. And for the first time in 10 years, Lily realized she was not sure she wanted to run from the answer. The question hung in the air like a held breath, and for a moment it felt as if the entire terminal went quiet. Ethan looked at Lily with a softness that felt both familiar and impossibly new. Yes, he said gently to Mia, a long time ago, I cared about your mother very much. Lily's pulse fluttered. She opened her mouth to steer the conversation somewhere safer, but Mia beat her to it. Did you stop caring? She asked, her voice pure and unfiltered. Ethan blinked, visibly taken aback by the simplicity and weight of the question. He shook his head slowly. Feelings do not just disappear, he said. Sometimes life gets in the way, and people lose touch. But that does not mean the caring stops. Lily felt her heart twist, a quiet ache she had learned to live with rising again. She looked away, pretending to adjust Mia's jacket zipper. Things were complicated, Lily said softly, not sure if she was speaking to Ethan or to herself. Ethan leaned forward just slightly, enough for his voice to reach her without being overheard. I never wanted things to end the way they did, he said. I always hoped one day we would talk again. Lily exhaled, steady and slow. A decade of unasked questions sat heavy on her tongue, but before she could speak, Mia tugged her sleeve. Mommy, are you hungry? Lily smiled gently. A little. Ethan stood, surprising both of them. There is a small cafe near Gate C, he said. They have good sandwiches. I can walk with you if that is all right. Lily hesitated, weighing comfort against caution, but Mia answered for her with a cheerful, yes. And just like that, they were walking together through the bustling terminal. Lily noticed how Ethan walked slightly behind them, protective without being intrusive, the same way he used to walk beside her down their high school hallway. Mia skipped along the tiles, humming softly. Ethan smiled at her energy. She seems like a happy kid, he said. Lily nodded. She is. She has a big heart. The cafe was warm, filled with the smell of toasted bread and fresh coffee. They found a table near the window. Mia pressed her face to the glass, watching planes take off. Ethan glanced at Lily. You look tired, he said quietly. Are you still working 2 jobs? Lily looked down at her hands. 3, sometimes. Rent went up again. Ethan's brows tightened, not judgmental, just concerned. That sounds exhausting. It is, she admitted. But Mia deserves stability. I do what I need to do. Ethan studied her with an intensity that made her pulse quicken. You always carried more than people realized, he said. I admire that about you. Lily felt warmth spreading across her chest, unexpected and dangerous. Admiration is nice, she said softly, but it does not pay my bills. Ethan let out a quiet exhale, half a laugh, half a sigh. I wish you had told me back then what you were going through. You were leaving for college, Lily replied. I did not want to be the reason you stayed. Ethan's expression shifted, aching and tender all at once. I would have stayed, he said. I would have chosen you. Lily's breath caught, and for a moment she could not look away from him. Then Mia called from the window, Mommy, look, a plane is taking off. Lily stood and joined her daughter, but she could feel Ethan's gaze on her, warm and searching, as if he was wondering whether life was offering them a second chance. The plane outside climbed higher into the sky, leaving a thin white trail across the blue, and for a moment Lily wondered if life was trying to tell her something. She helped Mia settle into her chair again, brushing crumbs off her daughter's lap, and when she turned back, Ethan was watching her with an expression she could not quite read. It was not pity. It was something warmer, something heavier, something that made her look away before her heart moved faster than her thoughts. Ethan cleared his throat softly. "Lily," he said, "would it be all right if I asked you something?" She hesitated, then nodded. "Go ahead." "Why did you not tell me you were going through everything alone?" he asked gently. "You had friends. You had me. You did not have to carry all of that by yourself." Lily inhaled slowly, feeling the familiar pressure behind her ribs, the kind that came from truths she rarely spoke out loud. "Because I was 17, she said. "Because you had a full scholarship. Because everyone said you were going to change the world. And I did not want to be the girl who held you back." Ethan leaned in slightly, his voice low and sincere. "You could never have held me back." Lily looked at him, really looked at him, at the steadiness in his eyes, at the boy she once loved layered beneath the man he had become. "Maybe not," she said quietly, "but I was afraid." "Afraid of what?" She smiled, a small, sad smile. "Afraid you would stay. And then you would resent me later." Ethan's brows softened, and for a moment he looked like the same teenager who used to promise her forever under the bleachers. "I would not have resented you," he said. "I would have chosen you. I thought you knew that." Lily swallowed, unable to hold his gaze any longer. She looked at Mia instead, at the way her daughter drew shapes on the fogged-up window with her fingertip. "Life does not always give us the chance to finish what we start," she whispered. Ethan nodded slowly, accepting her words even if they hurt. For a moment, silence fell between them, but it was not uncomfortable. It was full, layered with the things they were finally brave enough to say. Then Ethan glanced down at Mia, who was humming to herself quietly. "She is wonderful, Lily," he said. "You are doing an incredible job." Lily felt her chest warm. "Thank you." "Can I ask one more question?" he said. Lily hesitated again. "What is it?" "Is her father in her life?" The question landed softly, but Lily's breath still caught. It was the one topic she rarely discussed, the one truth she kept locked away. "No," she said after a moment. "He is not." Ethan nodded once, gently, not pushing for more. "I see." There was a flicker in his eyes, a mixture of protectiveness and something she could not name. Before she could respond, Mia turned back to them, holding out her drawing proudly. "Look. I made a plane like the one outside." Ethan smiled, genuine and bright. "It is perfect," he told her. Mia giggled, pleased with herself. Lily watched them, feeling a strange tug in her chest, a tug she had not felt in a decade. She realized then that the past was not the only thing standing in front of her. The present was, too. And it was looking at her with warm eyes and a gentle smile. The boarding announcement echoed through the cafe. "Passengers for Flight 62 to Denver, please proceed to the gate." Lily stood, gathering their things. Ethan rose as well, almost instinctively, as if he was meant to walk with them. And as they started toward the gate together, Lily could not shake the feeling that something important was unfolding, something she was finally ready to face. The walk toward the gate felt strangely natural, as if the three of them had moved together like this 100 times before. People streamed past with rolling suitcases and coffee cups, voices blending with the distant rumble of departing planes, yet Lily felt cocooned in a quiet bubble where only their small group existed. Mia held Lily's hand with one arm and clutched her paper plane in the other, skipping lightly with each step. Ethan walked beside them, matching their pace, careful not to crowd, but close enough that Lily could feel the warmth of his presence. When they reached the seating area near the gate, most passengers were already lining up. Lily guided Mia to another set of empty chairs, and Ethan followed. Lily lowered herself into a seat and exhaled slowly. She had barely wrapped her head around seeing Ethan again, and now he was here, close enough that she could feel the weight of everything unspoken. Ethan sat down as well, elbows resting lightly on his knees. "You seem quiet," he said softly. "Are you all right?" Lily managed a small smile. "Just thinking. About us?" The word hung in the air, gentle but bold enough to make her pulse jump. She looked away, choosing her words carefully. "About the past," she said. "About how strange life is. About how people can drift apart and then suddenly appear again in the middle of an airport." Ethan nodded slowly. "It is strange. But maybe it is not random." Lily did not know how to respond. A part of her wanted to laugh at the idea of fate. Another part of her, the part that had once been 17 and full of hope, felt something flutter at his words. Before she could sort through the feeling, Mia climbed onto Lily's lap. "Mommy, is he coming with us to see Grandma?" Ethan smiled gently at the question, but Lily felt her heart slam into her ribs. "No, honey," she said quickly, brushing Mia's hair aside. "He has his own flight." Mia turned to Ethan with a tiny pout. "But you can come with us if you want." Ethan let out a soft laugh. "I wish I could, sweetheart." Then his eyes found Lily's, steady and warm. "But I will be in Denver soon for work. Maybe, if it is all right, I could see you both again while you are there." Lily felt something shift inside her, something careful and cautious but undeniably curious. "Maybe," she said quietly. "We will see." An announcement crackled overhead. "Final boarding for Flight 62 to Denver. All remaining passengers, please proceed to the gate." Lily stood and helped Mia slip her little backpack on. Ethan rose too, smoothing the front of his hoodie. For a moment they simply stood there, facing each other, and Lily felt the familiar ache of an ending she did not want to reach. "It was really good to see you," she said softly. "You too," Ethan replied, his voice low. "More than you know." Lily took Mia's hand and turned toward the gate. They took a few steps before Mia suddenly pulled back. "Wait. You forgot something," she said, running back to Ethan. She held out the paper plane she had made. "You can keep it so you do not forget Mommy again." Ethan froze, touched in a way he could not hide. He knelt down, accepting the small paper plane with both hands as if it were something far more valuable. "Thank you, Mia," he said. "I will keep it safe." He stood slowly, his eyes lifting to Lily's. She felt her breath catch at the sincerity in his expression. "Have a safe flight," he said. Lily nodded, unable to speak past the knot in her chest. She turned away before her emotions betrayed her, guiding Mia toward the boarding line. But as she handed their tickets to the agent, something made her glance back. Ethan was still standing there, watching them, the paper plane held gently in his hand, as if it were a promise he was not ready to let go of. The flight to Denver was calm, but Lily's thoughts were anything but. As the plane hummed steadily through the clouds, she stared out the window while Mia slept curled against her side. Every few minutes, her mind drifted back to Ethan standing at the gate with that small paper plane in his hand. She told herself it was just nostalgia, a simple emotional ripple caused by a familiar face resurfacing. But deep down she knew it was more than that. The moment he looked at her, really looked at her, something inside her had stirred in a way she had not felt in years. When the plane landed and passengers began gathering their belongings, Lily guided Mia down the aisle and into the warm bustle of Denver International Airport. Her mother lived about 30 minutes away, in a quiet neighborhood Lily knew like the back of her hand. As she collected their luggage, Lily tried to focus on the present. But even as she stepped into the cool Colorado air, she felt the ghost of Ethan's presence lingering behind her like a soft echo. Her mother greeted them with open arms and a warm smile. The house smelled like cinnamon and old photographs. Mia ran inside happily, already talking about showing Grandma her airport drawings. Lily spent the first evening helping her mother sort medications, cooking dinner, and catching up on small stories. But when night settled and the house grew quiet, she found herself standing by the kitchen sink, staring at the window without really seeing it. Her mother walked in slowly, leaning on her cane. "You have that look," she said knowingly. Lily blinked out of her thoughts. "What look?" "The look you get when your heart is louder than your head." Lily laughed softly, shaking her head. "It is nothing, Mom. I just saw someone from the past today." Her mother gently raised an eyebrow. "Someone or the one?" Lily's breath hitched. She did not answer, but that was answer enough. Her mother stepped closer, placing a hand on her daughter's arm. "Life has a funny way of returning what we thought we lost," she said softly. "Just do not let fear make choices for you again." Lily opened her mouth to respond, but a vibration from her phone cut through the silence. She looked down and felt her breath catch. A message. From an unknown number. But she recognized the way he wrote her name the instant she saw it. "Lily, I hope I am not crossing any boundaries. I just want to know you arrived safely." She stared at the words, her heart thudding faster than she wanted it to. She typed back slowly, choosing caution over impulse. "We made it. Thank you." She set her phone down, exhaling. But almost immediately, another message appeared. "I meant what I said. I will be in Denver in 2 days. If you are open to it, I would really like to see you both." Lily read it 3 times, each one sending a small wave of warmth through her. She put her phone face down and pressed her palms to the counter, breathing deeply. She should have felt overwhelmed. She should have felt hesitant. But all she felt was hope. The kind she had forgotten she was capable of. 2 days. She whispered the words into the quiet kitchen, barely audible even to herself. 2 days. That night, she lay beside Mia, watching her daughter sleep peacefully, unaware of the shift happening in her mother's world. And as Lily closed her eyes, she finally allowed herself to wonder what it might mean to let someone back into her life. Especially someone she had never truly stopped loving. 2 days passed with a quiet tension that Lily tried to ignore but could not escape. She kept busy helping her mother fold laundry, cooking simple dinners, and taking Mia to the small park down the street, but no matter what she did, her thoughts drifted back to Ethan. Each time her phone buzzed with a message from him, her heart jumped in a way she could not hide, even from herself. He never crossed lines, never pushed. His messages were gentle, thoughtful, and warm. He asked about Mia. He asked about her mother. He asked how she was sleeping, eating, and settling in. Not once did he ask about her past or demand explanations. And somehow, that made her trust him more. When the 2 days finally arrived, Lily woke with a feeling she could not name. Something between nerves and excitement. She dressed Mia first, brushing her daughter's hair into a neat ponytail. Her mother watched from the doorway, leaning on her cane with an amused smile. "You are glowing," she teased lightly. Lily rolled her eyes. "I am. Just meeting an old friend." "Your heart knows better," her mother said with a wink. That afternoon, Ethan texted her again. "I am leaving the hotel now. Are you sure you are all right with this?" Lily read it 3 times, then answered simply. "Yes." The doorbell rang 20 minutes later. Lily's breath caught. She smoothed her shirt, steadied her heartbeat, and opened the door. Ethan stood there, dressed in a simple button-down shirt and jeans, nothing flashy, nothing showy. But the moment he saw her, his eyes softened like she was the first familiar thing he had seen in years. "Hi, Lily," he said quietly. "Hi," she whispered back. Mia peeked from behind her mother and lit up. "You came." Ethan crouched slightly to her level. "Of course I came. I told you I would." Mia grabbed his hand without hesitation. "Come see my drawings," she said, pulling him inside. Lily watched, stunned by how easily he fit into the small living room, as if he had been there many times before. He noticed the framed photographs on the shelves, most of them of Mia, some of Lily, and one of Lily with her mother. Then his eyes landed on the small wooden frame that held the old photo of him and Lily taken when they were 17, smiling awkwardly under the autumn light. He froze. Lily's cheeks warmed. "I forgot that was there," she said. "Mom likes to keep old memories around." Ethan traced the air near the frame, not touching it, but clearly moved. "I remember that day," he said softly. Hearing the tremor in his voice made something inside her tighten gently. They sat together in the living room while Mia spread her crayons on the carpet. Ethan asked questions about Lily's job schedule, her commute, the daycare she used to rely on, the bills she struggled to juggle. He listened, truly listened, in a way Lily had never experienced with anyone else. At one point, he glanced at her mother's medication bottle on the counter, then looked back at Lily. "You have been doing all of this alone," he said. "For so long." Lily swallowed, unsure what to say. "I did what I had to do." Ethan leaned forward, elbows on his knees. "You should not have had to carry all of it by yourself. You deserve support, Lily. You deserve rest. You deserve a life that does not hold you underwater." She looked away, afraid her eyes might give away too much. "Life is not that simple," she whispered. "Maybe not," he said, "but it does not mean it cannot change." Mia suddenly climbed onto the couch between them, holding up a new drawing. 3 stick figures holding hands. "Look," she said proudly. "It is me, Mommy, and you." Ethan's breath caught. Lily stared at the drawing, stunned by its innocence. The room fell quiet, filled with a tenderness Lily did not dare touch yet. Ethan looked at her slowly, carefully, as if he was afraid the moment might break. "Lily," he said softly, "I do not want to disappear from your life again. Not this time." And Lily, who had spent 10 years building walls just to survive, felt the first crack forming gently, like the soft beginning of a sunrise. For a long moment, Lily could not speak. The weight of Ethan's words settled in the quiet living room, gentle but unmistakably real. Her heartbeat felt loud in her ears, steady and uncertain at the same time. Mia, completely unaware of the emotion stretching between the adults, giggled as she added a sun in the corner of her drawing. Ethan watched Lily with a softness she had not seen in anyone for a very long time. Not expectation. Not pressure. Just honesty. "You do not have to decide anything now," he said quietly. "I just want you to know that I am here. And I am not going anywhere unless you tell me to." Lily looked down at her hands, fingers woven together tightly. She had spent years surviving by expecting nothing, wanting nothing, asking for nothing. When life teaches you to stand on your own, it is hard to remember what it feels like to lean. Her mother called gently from the kitchen, "Lily, could you help me for a moment?" Lily stood, grateful for a chance to breathe. But her mother did not need help. She simply pointed toward the backyard, where the late afternoon sunlight spilled across the grass. "Go," her mother said softly. "Talk to him." Lily stepped outside, and a few moments later, Ethan followed. The air was cool, touched with the smell of pine and earth. They stood beneath the old maple tree her mother had planted when Lily was a child. For a while, neither spoke. Finally, Lily breathed out the truth she had been afraid to admit. "I do not know how to do this," she whispered. "I do not know how to let someone in without being afraid they will leave." Ethan stepped closer, not touching her, just near enough to share the space she was guarding so tightly. "Then let me be the one who stays," he said. "Let me prove it one day at a time." She looked up at him, searching for any sign of insincerity, any crack in his promise. But all she saw was the boy she once loved and the man he had become, both standing in front of her with the same steady heart. "You built a life without me," she said. "A successful life. A wealthy life. You grew into someone I barely recognize. Then let me show you who I really am, he said softly. Not the man people see. Just me. Lily felt the tightness in her chest loosen, not in surrender, but in understanding. I cannot promise anything, she whispered. I cannot promise that I will not be scared. Or that it will be easy. Ethan nodded. I am not asking for easy. I am asking for a chance. She let out a shaky breath, the kind that comes right before a decision that matters. Then yes, she said softly. We can try. The smile that spread across Ethan's face was not bright or triumphant. It was warm. Grateful. Quiet. The kind of smile that said he understood the bravery of her yes. Mia suddenly burst through the back door, running across the yard with her drawing flapping in the wind. Look, she shouted happily. I made another one. Lily laughed, the sound lighter than it had been in years. Ethan crouched down to admire the new drawing, and when Mia reached them, she placed the paper in his hands. 3 stick figures again. But this time, they were closer together. Holding hands. Under a big yellow sun. Ethan looked at Lily as if that small drawing was the most valuable gift he had ever received. And in a way, it was. Because it was a picture of the future he hoped to build with her. Lily felt her heart settle, calm and certain. For the first time in 10 years, she allowed herself to imagine a future that was not shaped by fear. A future shaped by possibility. By hope. By love that had found its way back. Ethan rose slowly, his eyes meeting hers. I am here, he said. For both of you. Lily nodded, finally believing it. Then stay, she whispered. And in that quiet backyard, with late sunlight warming the grass and Mia's laughter dancing through the air, the past gently released its hold. Leaving room for something new. Something promising. Something real.